3 months had passed since Captain Jake Sullivan first detected the strange sonar contacts in the Pacific. His reports had traveled up the chain of command, creating concern among military leaders worldwide. Admiral Lisa Carter had ordered increased patrols, but the mysterious objects had vanished as suddenly as they appeared. The morning sky over New York City was clear and blue when everything changed. At exactly 9 a.m. local time, the air itself seemed to shimmer above the United Nations building. The distortion grew larger until a massive shape materialized out of nothing. The ship was beautiful in a way that human technology had never achieved. It looked like a living crystal, with surfaces that shifted between transparent and opaque. Elegant curves flowed along its length, and soft blue light pulsed through internal channels. The vessel was easily 3 miles long and hovered silently, 500 feet above the city. Within minutes, similar ships appeared over London, Tokyo, Moscow, Beijing, Delhi, Cairo, Sydney, Mexico City, Lagos, São Paulo, and Los Angeles. Each ship was identical in design, but unique in the color of light that flowed through its structure. The world stopped to stare at the impossible sight. Television networks interrupted regular programming. Internet servers crashed from the massive traffic as billions of people tried to share images and videos. Military forces around the world went to high alert, but their weapons seemed pathetic compared to the magnificent alien vessels. President Matthew Hayes was in the Oval Office when his chief of staff burst in without knocking. "Mr. President, you need to see this immediately," she said, pointing to the emergency broadcast on every television channel. The ships had begun transmitting. The signal reached every communication device on Earth simultaneously: televisions, radios, smartphones, and even emergency broadcast systems. The voice that spoke was clearly artificial, but perfectly understandable in every human language. "People of Earth," the voice began. "We are representatives of the Galactic Council, the governing body of this galaxy. For thousands of years we have maintained peace and order among the stars. Today we extend our protection to your world." The transmission showed the interior of what appeared to be a council chamber. Alien beings of various shapes and sizes sat in elegant formations. The one speaking stood at the center, a tall figure with scaled green skin and piercing yellow eyes. "I am Ambassador Kilthor of the Saurian Empire," the alien continued. "Your species has reached a level of development that requires our guidance. From this day forward, Earth is under Galactic Council protection and supervision." President Hayes felt his stomach drop. The tone was not one of greeting or diplomacy. It was the voice of a superior speaking to subordinates. "Your primitive weapons and aggressive tendencies pose a threat to your own survival," Kilthor continued. "Therefore, we are implementing immediate restrictions. All military activities must cease. All space-based technology will be disabled. Your species is forbidden from leaving this solar system until you have proven capable of peaceful coexistence." In the Pentagon, General Paul Thompson watched the broadcast with growing anger. "This is an invasion," he said to the other Joint Chiefs. "They're not offering protection. They're demanding surrender." Before anyone could respond, the alien demonstration began. Without any visible weapons or energy beams, every military satellite in Earth's orbit simply stopped working. Communication satellites went dead. GPS systems failed. The International Space Station lost all power and began an emergency descent. Protocol fighter jets scrambled from air bases around the world. F-22 Raptors, F-35 Lightning IIs, and other advanced aircraft took to the skies. But as they approached the alien ships, their engines simply shut off. Pilots found themselves gliding powerless aircraft back to their bases. Not a single shot had been fired, yet Earth's entire military had been neutralized in minutes. Dr. Emma Rodriguez watched from NASA headquarters as decades of human space achievement became worthless in seconds. The Hubble Space Telescope went dark. Mars rovers stopped responding. Every piece of technology humans had put into space was now dead metal floating in the void. "How is this possible?" she whispered to her colleague, Dr. Mike Foster. "They didn't use any weapons we can detect." "Advanced electromagnetic pulse technology," Mike replied grimly, "but targeted and controlled in ways we never thought possible. They can shut down specific systems without affecting others." The alien ambassador was still speaking. "Your leaders will present themselves at the United Nations building in New York within 24 hours. We will discuss the terms of your integration into Galactic Council oversight. Resistance is both futile and unnecessary." President Hayes knew he had no choice. Within hours, he was on Air Force One heading to New York, along with other world leaders. The presidential aircraft's engines worked normally, but every advanced system was dead. They were flying with basic instruments, like commercial aircraft. From 50 years ago, the United Nations General Assembly had never hosted anything like this meeting. Ambassador Kilthor materialized in the center of the chamber using some kind of teleportation technology. Up close, he was even more impressive. 7 feet tall with intelligent eyes that seemed to see through everything. "Welcome, Primitive, leaders of Earth," Kilthor began. Several delegates shifted uncomfortably at being called primitive. "Your species shows potential, but you require guidance to avoid self-destruction." President Hayes stood to respond. "Ambassador Kilthor, we appreciate your concern for our world. However, humanity has always valued freedom and self-determination. Perhaps we could discuss a partnership rather than oversight." The alien's laughter was not pleasant. It sounded like metal scraping against stone. "Partnership? Your species has barely learned to leave your own planet. You still fight wars over imaginary lines on maps. You pollute your own environment and waste precious resources on conflicts." Other world leaders tried to speak, but Kilthor dismissed them with gestures. "Your technologies are amusing but ineffective. Your space vehicles use controlled explosions. Ah, how wonderfully primitive. Your computers are slower than our children's toys. Your weapons could not damage our ships if you tried for 1,000 years." Dr. Emma Rodriguez had been allowed to attend as a scientific advisor. She tried a different approach. "Ambassador, humanity has made remarkable progress in a very short time. We've split the atom, decoded our own genetic structure, and sent probes to the edge of our solar system. Given time, we could contribute to galactic civilization." Kilthor's yellow eyes focused on her. "Contribute? You have discovered fire and think yourselves ready to join the stars. Your greatest scientific achievements are obvious discoveries that every civilized species makes in their first century of development." The humiliation continued for hours. Every human achievement was dismissed as primitive or obvious. Art was called crude, literature was deemed simple, and music was described as noise. The aliens treated Earth's greatest thinkers like children playing with toys. "Monitoring stations will be established above each continent," Kilthor announced as the meeting concluded. "Council representatives will observe your activities and ensure compliance with our directives. Attempts to develop space technology or advanced weapons will be prevented." As the alien ambassador vanished in a shimmer of light, the world leaders sat in stunned silence. President Hayes looked around the chamber at faces filled with shock, anger, and helplessness. "What do we do now?" asked the Prime Minister of Canada. We learn. Hayes replied quietly. We adapt. And we never forget that. This is our world, not theirs. Outside the United Nations building, 12 crystal ships took positions around the globe. Humanity's first day under alien rule had begun, and it tasted like ash in the mouth of every person who witnessed it. The aliens had made one crucial mistake, though they did not realize it yet. They had shown humans exactly what they were capable of. And humans, despite their primitive technology, had one trait that the Galactic Council had overlooked. They did not stay defeated for long. 6 months under alien rule had changed everything on Earth. The crystal ships floating above major cities served as constant reminders of humanity's new status. The aliens called them monitoring stations, but everyone knew they were prison. Guards watching over the inmates. The specimen collections had started in the second month. People would simply vanish from their daily lives, walking to work, shopping for groceries, playing in parks. They would reappear hours or days later with no memory of where they had been. Medical examinations showed signs of advanced scanning, but the victims remembered nothing. Dr. Sarah Kim had been taken 3 times. Each time, she returned to her laboratory at Johns Hopkins with gaps in her memory and a feeling that something important had been stolen from her mind. Her research into alien technology had been making progress before the first collection. Now she struggled to remember her own discoveries. They're not just studying us, she told her research partner, Dr. James Liu, during one of their carefully hidden conversations. They're taking our knowledge. Every time they scan our brains, they learn what we've figured out about their technology. World governments had tried to maintain normal operations, but it was impossible with alien oversight. Every military facility was watched. Every research laboratory was monitored. Any attempt to develop advanced technology resulted in immediate intervention by the floating ships. However, the aliens had made one crucial error in their arrogance. They assumed that humans would behave like other conquered species, accepting defeat and waiting for permission to advance. They did not understand that humans had spent their entire history fighting against impossible odds. Colonel Ryan Brooks had disappeared from official records 3 months ago. As far as the aliens knew, he had been transferred to a desk job in military logistics. In reality, he was coordinating the largest secret operation in human history from a facility carved deep into the Rocky Mountains. Project Prometheus had started as a small group of military officers and scientists who refused to accept defeat. It had grown into a network spanning every continent, involving millions of people who worked in complete secrecy to prepare for humanity's response to alien occupation. We have confirmation from all sectors, reported Major Kelly Davis as she entered the main command center. The facility had been built inside an abandoned mine shaft, hidden beneath hundreds of feet of solid rock. The European cells have successfully infiltrated 3 monitoring stations. The Asian network has recovered 12 damaged alien drones. The African teams have established manufacturing capabilities in former mine complexes. Ryan studied the global map displayed on the wall. Red dots showed alien monitoring stations. Blue dots showed resistance cells. Green dots indicated successful technology recovery operations. The blue dots outnumbered the red ones by a ratio of 50-1. What about Dr. Foster's team? Ryan asked. They've made a breakthrough, Kelly replied with excitement. You need to see this. Dr. Alan Foster had been a theoretical physicist before the invasion. Now he was humanity's leading expert on alien technology, though he had to work in a laboratory hidden 2 miles underground. His latest discovery was spread across multiple computer screens in the analysis center. "Colonel Brooks, this changes everything," Alan said as Ryan entered the lab. "I've been analyzing the energy signatures from alien ships and monitoring stations. Their technology isn't magic. It's applied physics that we already understand in theory." Alan pointed to complex equations covering 3 large displays. "They use controlled space-time manipulation for propulsion and zero-point energy extraction for power. We've known about these concepts for decades. We just never had the technology to make them work." "But now we do?" Ryan asked. "Not exactly," Alan admitted. "But we know how they do it, and more importantly, I've found weaknesses." Alan switched to a different display showing alien ship schematics that had been pieced together from recovered fragments and careful observation. "Their technology assumes they're dealing with primitive opponents. Their shields are designed to stop kinetic weapons and basic energy attacks. Their sensors look for traditional electromagnetic signatures." Engineer Kate Morrison joined the conversation. She had been working with the recovered alien technology, trying to understand how it functioned. "We've successfully reverse-engineered their basic power systems," she reported. "The prototype is crude, but it works." Kate led them to a sealed chamber, where a device the size of a washing machine hummed quietly. Energy readings on nearby instruments showed power output that should have been impossible for something so small. "It's a zero-point energy tap," Kate explained. "Nothing like our nuclear reactors or fossil fuel generators. This thing pulls energy directly from empty space itself. One unit this size could power a city for a year." Ryan felt his first real hope since the invasion began. "Can we build more?" "That's the beautiful part," Kate said with a grin. "We can build thousands. The aliens design for perfection and elegance. We can design for quantity and function. Give us 6 months, and we can equip every resistance cell with unlimited power." Dr. Foster had more news. "I've been studying the alien neural scanning technology they use for specimen collection. It's sophisticated, but it has limitations. Human. Brains process information in ways they didn't expect." Alan showed brain scan images from resistance volunteers who had been taken for alien examination. "Look at these patterns. When they scan our brains, they're looking for specific types of knowledge storage. But humans don't store information the way other species do." "What do you mean?" Ryan asked. "Most species think in linear patterns," Alan explained. "They solve problems step by step, building on previous knowledge in predictable ways. Humans jump around. We make intuitive leaps, combine unrelated concepts, and find solutions that shouldn't work according to logical analysis." Kate nodded enthusiastically. "That's why our reverse engineering is working. We're not trying to copy their technology exactly. We're figuring out how to make it work with human manufacturing methods and human thinking patterns." The implications were staggering. The aliens had been collecting human specimens to understand human technology and thinking, but they couldn't properly interpret what they found because human minds worked differently than any species they had encountered before. "There's more," Alan continued. "I've been analyzing communication intercepts from the monitoring stations. The aliens are actually concerned about something. They're reporting unusual readings from Earth that they can't explain." "What kind of readings?" Ryan asked. "Industrial activity in areas where their sensors show no signs of development. Energy. Signatures that don't match any known human technology. Population movements that suggest organized resistance despite their belief that we're completely controlled." Ryan smiled for the first time in months. "They know something is happening, but they don't know what." "Exactly," Alan said. "And here's the best part. They're too arrogant to ask for help from the Galactic Council." The local commanders don't want to admit that primitive humans might be causing problems they can't solve. Major Davis entered the laboratory with an urgent report. Colonel, we've received a communication from an unexpected source. Someone claiming to be an alien is trying to make contact with our network. Ryan's expression became serious. This could be a trap or an opportunity. What kind of communication? Quantum encrypted transmission using principles that Dr. Foster says match our theoretical models. Whoever sent this knows more about advanced physics than we do, but they're using mathematical concepts that humans developed. Alan examined the transmission data. This is genuine alien technology, but modified to be compatible with human understanding. Someone on their side wants to talk to us. Ryan made the decision that would change everything. Set up a secure communication link. If someone wants to help us, we need to know what they're offering and what they want in return. The resistance had grown from a small group of rebels into a global network of millions. They had alien technology, unlimited power sources, and manufacturing capabilities hidden across the planet. Most importantly, they had something the aliens had never encountered before: human determination and creativity applied to problems that other species had never thought to solve. The real war was about to begin, and the Galactic Council had no idea what was coming. The secure communication chamber deep beneath the Rocky Mountains had been built using the most advanced technology the Resistance could manage. Dr. Ben Taylor stood before a device that combined human engineering with alien principles, creating something that neither species had imagined possible. Ben had been working in complete isolation since the invasion began. His quantum physics research had been classified beyond even the Resistance leadership's knowledge. Now, as the first communication from their mysterious alien contact came through, his work would prove crucial to humanity's survival. Connection established, reported technician Amy Chen from her control station. Quantum encryption is holding. Steady. We're receiving a signal from somewhere in the outer solar system. The voice that emerged from the speakers was clearly alien, but it spoke English with surprising clarity. Humans of Earth, I am Zarakin of the Andorian Collective. I risk my life to speak with you because my people believe the Galactic Council has made a terrible mistake. Colonel Ryan Brooks stepped forward. Why should we trust you? This could be a trap to locate our facilities. Because, Zarakin replied, if the Council wanted to find you, they would simply destroy your planet and be done with it. They have the power to turn Earth into dust within hours. The fact that they have not done so proves they fear something about your species. Dr. Alan Foster had been analyzing the transmission signal. Colonel, this is genuine. The quantum signature matches theoretical models for long-range alien communication, and she's right about their destructive capability. Our analysis shows their ships could sterilize the planet's surface if they chose to. What do you want from us? Ryan asked the alien contact. I want to prevent a war that could destroy both our species, Zarakin answered. But first you must understand the truth about the Galactic Council. Over the next several hours, Zarakin revealed secrets that changed everything the Resistance thought they knew about their situation. The Galactic Council was not the peaceful alliance of advanced species they claimed to be. It was an empire built on conquest and technological suppression. The Council maintains power by controlling the development of emerging species, Zarakin explained. They identify worlds during what they call the emergence phase, when a species develops spaceflight but before they achieve advanced propulsion. This is when civilizations are most vulnerable. How many species have they conquered this way? Asked Dr. Emma Rodriguez, who had been brought in as a xenobiology expert. Hundreds, Zarakin replied sadly. My own people, the Andorians, were absorbed into the Council 3,000 years ago. We had developed interstellar travel and were exploring nearby systems when Council ships arrived. They offered us protection and advanced technology in exchange for loyalty. And you accepted? Ryan asked. We were young and naive. We thought we were joining a galactic civilization. By the time we realized we had become slaves, it was too late. The Council controls our technology, our trade, our very ability to travel between stars. We are kept alive because we are useful, but we are not free. Dr. Foster had been running calculations while listening to the conversation. How many species in the Council actually joined willingly? Perhaps 3 or 4 of the original 12, Zarakan admitted. The others were conquered and absorbed over thousands of years. The Council prefers to maintain the illusion of voluntary membership, but the reality is quite different. Why are you telling us this? Emma asked. Because your species represents something the Council has never encountered before, Zarakan said. Every other species they conquered followed predictable patterns. They would attempt traditional military resistance, fail against superior technology, and eventually submit to Council authority. And humans are different? Ryan asked. Completely different, Zarakan confirmed. Council analysts have been studying your species for 6 months. They cannot predict your behavior patterns. Your technology development does not follow logical progression. Your problem-solving methods produce results that should be impossible according to established scientific principles. Kate Morrison had been listening from her engineering station. What specifically puzzles them about us? Everything, Zarakan replied. You reverse engineer their technology faster than any species they have encountered. You adapt to new situations without proper preparation. You solve problems by combining unrelated concepts in ways that no logical analysis would suggest. You make it sound like we're some kind of super species, Ryan said skeptically. Not superior, Zarakan corrected. Unique. Most intelligent species develop along similar paths. They build on previous knowledge systematically. They follow established scientific methods. They think in orderly patterns that can be predicted and controlled. Humans think differently? Alan asked. Human neural patterns are unlike anything in the galactic database, Zarakan confirmed. You process multiple complex scenarios simultaneously. You make intuitive leaps that skip logical steps, but arrive at correct conclusions. You can adapt existing technology to purposes it was never designed for. This is why they're afraid of us, Ben Taylor realized. If humans gain access to advanced technology, we won't use it the way other species do. Exactly, Zarakan said. The Council maintains control by understanding how species will develop and ensuring they never become threatening. But they cannot predict how humans will develop because you do not follow established patterns. Ryan felt pieces of a larger puzzle clicking into place. That's why they've been collecting specimens and scanning our brains. They're trying to understand how we think. And failing, Zarakan added. Their neural analysis technology is designed for species that think linearly. Human consciousness operates on multiple levels simultaneously in ways their scanners cannot properly interpret. Dr. Rodriguez had been taking notes throughout the conversation. What about the other Council species? Do any of them support what you're doing? More than you might expect, Zarakan replied. The Andorians are not the only species that remembers freedom. Several Council members are growing tired of the current system. They see humans as an opportunity to change the balance of galactic power. But they're also terrified of us, Alan observed. Yes, Zarakan admitted. If humans achieve advanced technology and maintain your unpredictable nature, you could become the dominant species in the galaxy within centuries instead of millennia. Some council species want to destroy Earth immediately to prevent this possibility. Why? Haven't they? Ryan asked. Because others argue that humans could be controlled and used as weapons against council enemies, Zarakan explained. There are threats in distant galaxies that even the council fears. A species with human adaptability but advanced technology could be valuable allies. Or dangerous enemies, Kate pointed out. Indeed, Zarakan agreed. This is why the council is divided. Half want to eliminate humanity, half want to control you. None of them want to see you become truly free. Ryan made the decision that would define humanity's future. What do you propose we do about it? Prove that humans cannot be controlled or eliminated, Zarakan replied. Show the galaxy that a new kind of species has emerged. Force the Council to accept humanity as equals rather than subjects. And how do we do that? Ryan asked. By doing what humans do best, Zarakan said. The impossible. The communication ended with Zarakan promising to provide intelligence about Council movements and weaknesses. As the Resistance leadership gathered to discuss what they had learned, one thing became clear. Humanity was not just fighting for freedom from alien occupation. They were fighting to prove that a different kind of civilization was possible. The Council had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years by understanding and controlling how species developed. Humanity represented something they had never seen before, a species that could not be predicted, controlled, or understood using traditional methods. The real question was whether humans could master advanced technology quickly enough to survive. The Council's response when they finally realized the threat humanity represented. Time was running out, and the galaxy was watching to see what this strange new species would do next. The breakthrough came at 3:47 a.m. in Dr. Kate Morrison's underground laboratory. For 8 months, she had been working with fragments of alien technology, trying to understand principles that seemed to violate everything humans knew about physics. Now, surrounded by her exhausted team, she stared at a device that should not have been possible. Run the test again, she told her assistant, Dr. Mark Wilson. I need to be absolutely certain this is real. The device was crude by alien standards, a collection of human-manufactured components arranged around a core of reverse-engineered alien technology. It looked like something built in a garage rather than an advanced laboratory. But when Mark activated the power sequence, space itself seemed to bend around the machine. Space-time displacement confirmed, reported Dr. Lisa Park from her monitoring station. We're seeing controlled gravitational field manipulation. The device is actually warping local space. Kate felt her hands shaking as she recorded the readings. This was the first human-built space-time manipulation device in history. It was primitive, inefficient, and probably dangerous, but it worked. Humanity had just taken its first step toward mastering the technology that ruled the galaxy. Contact Colonel Brooks immediately, Kate ordered. He needs to see this. Meanwhile, in a facility carved into an abandoned subway tunnel beneath New York City, Captain Jack Turner was making his own startling discovery. As Naval Intelligence's leading expert on alien technology, he had been studying Council monitoring stations for months. What he found in ancient human archaeological sites changed everything. These mathematical principles match alien technology exactly, Jack explained to Dr. Susan Martinez, the archaeologist who had brought him the stone tablets. But these carvings are over 5,000 years old. The tablets had been found in excavations around the world, sites in Egypt, Peru, China, and Easter Island. Each showed mathematical formulas that described space-time manipulation, zero-point energy extraction, and faster-than-light communication principles. "How is this possible?" Susan asked. "Humans 5,000 years ago were using bronze tools and had no concept of advanced physics." "Unless they had help," Jack replied grimly. "Or unless humanity had contact with advanced civilizations before and lost that knowledge." The implications were staggering. If ancient humans had possessed advanced knowledge, it might explain why modern humans could adapt to alien technology so quickly. It could mean that human minds were already prepared for concepts that other species took millennia to develop. "There's more," Susan said, showing him additional artifacts. "We found similar sites on every continent. Whatever happened, it was global. And there are references in ancient texts about sky beings who taught humans forbidden knowledge before disappearing." Back in the Rocky Mountain facility, Colonel Ryan Brooks studied the reports coming in from resistance cells worldwide. The Yao news was almost too good to believe. Human manufacturing capabilities, once given proper designs, were exceeding every projection. "Production report from the European cells," announced Major Kelly Davis. "They've completed 37 zero-point energy generators using our reverse-engineered designs. The African network has finished 42 units. Asian cells report 51 units completed." "What about weapons development?" Ryan asked. "That's where it gets interesting," Kelly replied. "The humans aren't trying to copy alien weapons exactly. They're adapting the principles to work with human manufacturing methods and tactical thinking." General Susan Price entered the command center with a thick folder of technical specifications. As the former head of Air Force Research and Development, she had been coordinating the Resistance's military technology program. "We've designed our first generation of combat spacecraft," Susan announced. "They're not as elegant as alien ships, but they have advantages the Council never considered." She activated the holographic display system, showing sleek but functional spacecraft designs that looked distinctly human. The ships were angular where alien vessels were curved, efficient where alien ships were beautiful, and numerous where alien ships were few. "Alien ships are built for perfection," Susan explained. "Each vessel takes months to construct and represents the pinnacle of their technology. Our ships are designed for mass production. We can build 50 functional ships in the time it takes them to build one perfect ship." "What about their superior firepower?" Ryan asked. "We're not trying to match their individual ship capabilities," Susan replied. "We're planning to overwhelm them with numbers and tactics they've never encountered." The display showed tactical simulations of human ships operating in coordinated groups. Instead of the formal battle formations used by Council species, human ships used swarming tactics, sacrificial attacks, and rapid coordination that changed moment by moment. "Most galactic species fight like chess players," Susan continued. "Careful, logical, predictable moves based on established strategies. Humans fight like a pack of wolves, coordinated but chaotic, with each ship adapting instantly to changing conditions." Dr. Alan Foster had been analyzing alien psychology reports provided by their contact, Zarakin. His conclusions were both encouraging and terrifying. "Council species think in hierarchical patterns," Alan reported. "They expect formal challenges, traditional battle formations, and logical tactical progression. Human military thinking is completely outside their experience." "How so?" Ryan asked. "Humans use concepts like sacrificial attacks to create openings, feint retreats to draw enemies into traps, and coordinated chaos that looks random but follows invisible patterns. Alan explained. No council species has ever encountered opponents who would deliberately sacrifice ships to achieve tactical advantages. Because it's illogical? Kelly asked. Because it requires a type of thinking that most species consider primitive, Alan replied. The willingness to accept short-term losses for long-term gains, to make decisions based on incomplete information, to adapt tactics in real time without central coordination. The Resistance had discovered something remarkable about their situation. Humanity's supposed primitive nature was actually an advantage that no advanced species possessed. Council races had become so sophisticated that they had lost the ability to think in simple, direct, and sometimes brutal terms. There's something else, Alan continued. Zarakin has provided intelligence about Council military capabilities. Their ships and weapons are designed to fight other advanced species using predictable tactics. They're not prepared for opponents who ignore conventional wisdom. What do you mean? Ryan asked. Council ships have powerful shields designed to stop directed energy weapons and kinetic projectiles. But they're not designed to handle distributed attacks from multiple directions simultaneously. Their targeting systems are built to engage obvious threats, not swarms of smaller vessels using unpredictable movement patterns. Kate Morrison's team had arrived with their space-time manipulation device, demonstrating the technology that would change everything. The crude machine successfully created a localized gravitational field, proving that humans could master the fundamental technology that powered alien civilization. How long before we can build ship-sized versions? Ryan asked. 6 months for prototypes, Kate replied. Another 6 months for mass production. We'll have crude but functional faster-than-light capable ships within a year. The Council won't wait that long, General Price pointed out. Zarakin's report suggests they're already suspicious about activity on Earth they can't explain. Ryan studied the global status board showing resistance activity across the planet. Millions of humans were working in hidden facilities, manufacturing, alien-derived technology, and preparing for a war that most of the world didn't even know was coming. Then we moved to the next phase, Ryan decided. It's time to reveal ourselves to the world and begin open preparation for what's coming. The aliens will try to stop us, Kelly warned. Let them try, Ryan replied. They think they understand. Humans because they've observed us for a few months. They're about to learn that watching someone and understanding them are completely different things. The Resistance had grown from a small group of rebels into a global network capable of challenging galactic civilization. They had mastered alien technology, developed new tactical concepts, and discovered advantages that even they hadn't realized they possessed. Most importantly, they had learned that humanity's greatest strength was not trying to be like other species. It was remaining uniquely, unpredictably, and sometimes chaotically human. The galaxy had no idea what was about to emerge from the small blue planet it had dismissed as primitive and harmless. The secret was too big to keep hidden any longer. After 10 months of underground resistance, the time had come to reveal to the world what millions of humans had been working toward in hidden facilities across the planet. President Matthew Hayes stood in the Oval Office, surrounded by world leaders who had traveled to Washington through carefully arranged channels. Prime Minister Jennifer Walsh of the United Kingdom, Chancellor Klaus Weber of Germany, President Liu Wei of China, and 8 other heads of state had gathered for the most important meeting in human history. The Resistance Network spans every continent, Colonel Ryan Brooks explained as he presented the global status report. We have manufacturing facilities in abandoned mines, subway tunnels, underwater installations, and Arctic complexes. Over 12 million people are directly involved in the project. 12 million? President Hayes asked in amazement. How did you keep something this massive secret? Because the aliens expected us to behave like other conquered species, Ryan replied. They monitored obvious locations, military bases, research facilities, government buildings. They never imagined we would move our entire technological development underground. General Susan Price activated the holographic display showing spacecraft, construction facilities around the world. We've completed construction of 237 combat vessels using reverse-engineered alien technology. Another 400 ships are in various stages of completion. How is this possible? Asked Chancellor Weber. Our intelligence services detected no unusual industrial activity. Because we didn't use traditional industrial methods, explained Dr. Kate Morrison, who had been brought in to explain the technical details. We developed distributed manufacturing networks using alien energy sources that don't produce the signatures human technology would create. The display showed hidden shipyards that defied everything the world leaders thought they knew about spacecraft construction. Ships were being built in sections across multiple facilities, then assembled in caverns carved deep into mountain ranges. The vessels looked functional rather than elegant, built for specific purposes rather than aesthetic appeal. What capabilities do these ships have? Asked President Liu Wei. Limited faster-than-light travel using our reverse-engineered space-time manipulation technology, Kate replied. Directed energy weapons adapted from alien designs. Most importantly, they're designed to work together using tactical concepts no galactic species has ever encountered. Admiral Tony Rodriguez had been coordinating the naval aspects of the resistance. As former Pacific Fleet commander, he understood better than anyone what they were attempting. We're not trying to build ships that match alien capabilities one for one, Tony explained. We're building a fleet designed to use human tactical advantages, speed over durability, numbers over individual power, unpredictability over conventional strategy. Show them the tactical simulations, Ryan ordered. The holographic display changed to show battle scenarios that looked like nothing any human military had ever attempted. Ships moved in swarms, coordinating attacks that looked chaotic but followed complex patterns. Individual vessels made sacrificial runs to create openings for others. The entire fleet operated like a single organism with hundreds of independently thinking parts. This is how humans fight, General Price explained. We adapt tactics in real time. We make decisions based on incomplete information. We're willing to accept losses to achieve objectives. These concepts are foreign to species that have had thousands of years to develop perfect strategies. Dr. Emily Park had been studying alien psychology through communications with their contact, Zarakan. Her analysis revealed crucial weaknesses in Council military thinking. Galactic species fight like they build their technology, Emily reported. Carefully, logically, with each action planned well in advance. They expect formal challenges and traditional battle formations. Human unpredictability is completely outside their experience. What kind of unpredictability? Asked Prime Minister Walsh. We'll show you, Emily replied, activating a different simulation. Watch how Council ships respond to traditional attack patterns versus human tactics. The simulation showed alien vessels easily defeating conventional military forces using superior technology and shields. But when faced with swarming attacks, from multiple directions, coordinated sacrificial runs, and constantly changing tactical patterns, the alien responses became confused and ineffective. Their targeting systems are designed to engage obvious threats, Emily explained. They can't. handled dozens of smaller ships attacking from unpredictable angles while constantly changing their approach patterns. President Hayes studied the information with growing amazement and concern. "How long before we're ready to implement this plan?" "We could begin operations within 2 months," Ryan replied. "But there's something else you need to understand. We're not just planning to drive the aliens away from Earth." "What do you mean?" Chancellor Weber asked. Dr. Ben Taylor, the quantum physicist who had been coordinating communications with alien allies, stepped forward. "We've been in contact with resistance movements on 12 different worlds. If humanity proves that the Galactic Council can be defeated, it will trigger independence movements across the galaxy." "You're talking about Galactic War," President Liu Wei observed. "The galaxy is already at war," Ben replied. "It's just been a one-sided conquest for thousands of years. We're offering oppressed species their first real chance at freedom." The world leaders absorbed this information in silence. They had thought they were fighting for Earth's independence. Now they learned they were potentially fighting to reshape galactic civilization. "What are the risks?" President Hayes asked. "Total annihilation of human civilization if we fail," Ryan answered honestly. "But also total subjugation if we do nothing. The Council is already debating whether to eliminate humanity entirely. Our choice is to fight now while we have advantages, or wait until they decide we're too dangerous to allow to exist." Zarakins. Latest intelligence reports had been disturbing. Council debates about the human problem were becoming more intense. Several species were pushing for immediate elimination of Earth's population before humans could develop further. "We have a narrow window of opportunity," Ben explained. "The Council still believes we're primitive and controllable. They're not expecting military resistance using their own technology turned against them." "How many ships can we field for the initial operation?" asked Admiral Rodriguez. 237 combat vessels ready for immediate deployment," General Price replied. "Another 150 ships completing final systems integration within 2 weeks. We'll have the largest fleet any single world has ever assembled against Council forces." "And if we lose?" asked Prime Minister Walsh. "Then at least the galaxy will know that someone tried," Ryan replied, "and that might inspire others to continue the fight." President Hayes looked around the room at the faces of world leaders who had just learned that their species was about to challenge the most powerful military force in galactic history. "When do we tell the people of Earth what's happening?" he asked. "After the first battle," Ryan replied. "If we win, we'll have proof that victory is possible. If we lose, at least they won't have to live with the anticipation of defeat." The meeting concluded with unanimous agreement to proceed with humanity's bid for independence. As world leaders returned to their nations to coordinate final preparations, one fact was clear. In 60 days, humans would either prove themselves worthy of freedom or demonstrate that some species were destined to remain conquered. The resistance had become humanity's military force. The hidden facilities had become Earth's shipyards. The scattered rebels had become the foundation of a new kind of civilization that refused to accept limitations imposed by others. In space stations throughout the galaxy, Galactic Council forces continued their routine patrols, unaware that a primitive species on a small blue planet was preparing to show them that the universe was about to change forever. The attack began before dawn on a Tuesday morning that would reshape galactic history. Admiral Vextar's expanded fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of Earth's solar system, confident they were arriving to investigate minor disturbances reported by the monitoring stations. "Standard patrol formation," Vextar ordered from the bridge of his flagship, the massive crystal vessel Dominion of Stars. We will conduct a thorough inspection of the primitive world and determine why our monitoring stations have detected unusual energy readings. The fleet consisted of 36 council ships, more firepower than had ever been deployed against a single primitive world. Each vessel was a masterpiece of alien engineering, capable of destroying entire cities with a single energy blast. Vextar expected to find nothing more threatening than crude human attempts to build better rockets. "Admiral," reported his sensor. "Officer, I'm detecting some unusual orbital debris. It appears the humans have been more active in space than our previous reports indicated." "Investigate," Vextar ordered dismissively. "Document their pathetic attempts at space development for the Council archives." What the alien sensors had detected were not debris, but carefully disguised human ships positioned throughout the solar system. Captain Sarah Mitchell commanded the destroyer squadron hidden behind the asteroid belt, her ships powered down to minimal signatures to avoid detection. "All ships, this is Admiral Rodriguez," came the encrypted communication from the command vessel concealed near Jupiter's largest moon. "The aliens have arrived exactly as predicted. Execute Phase 1 on my mark." Hidden facilities throughout the solar system began powering up simultaneously. Ships that had appeared to be asteroids suddenly blazed with energy signatures as their true nature was revealed. Humans had spent months preparing the perfect trap, and now it was time to spring it. "Admiral Vextar," his tactical officer announced with concern, "I'm reading massive energy spikes throughout the system. These readings are impossible." "Explain," Vextar demanded. "The energy signatures match our own technology, but that's impossible. Humans don't possess faster-than-light capability or zero-point energy systems." Before Vexitar could respond, the space around his fleet erupted with light as hundreds of human ships decloaked simultaneously. The vessels looked crude compared to elegant alien engineering, but they moved with coordinated precision that sent shocks through the Council fleet. "Battle stations!" Vexitar roared. "How many ships are we facing?" "Over 400 contacts and climbing," his sensor officer reported in disbelief. "Admiral, these are not primitive vessels. They're using advanced propulsion and weapons systems." "Captain." Sarah Mitchell's squadron struck first, emerging from the asteroid belt in a coordinated attack that demonstrated everything alien commanders had never seen before. Instead of approaching informal battle lines, human ships attacked from dozens of directions simultaneously. "Remember the plan," Sarah broadcast to her ships. "Hit fast, hit hard, and don't give them time to think. Show them what happens when humans get angry." The human ships moved like a swarm of angry insects, each vessel following its own attack pattern while somehow coordinating with every other ship in the fleet. Alien targeting systems, designed to engage predictable opponents, struggled to lock onto targets that changed direction and speed in apparently random patterns. Commander Pete Johnson led a squadron of converted civilian vessels in a direct assault on the alien command ship. His ships were former cargo haulers and passenger transports, retrofitted with alien-derived weapons and human determination. "All ships follow my lead," Pete announced. "We're going to show these aliens what humans do when someone threatens our home." The converted vessels charged directly at the Dominion of Stars, ignoring the devastating energy beams that destroyed several ships in the opening moments. But for every human ship that fell, 2 more took its place, attacking from new angles, and forcing the alien gunners to constantly adjust their targeting. "Impossible!" Vextar shouted as his ship's shields began to fluctuate under the coordinated assault. "These primitives should not possess this technology." Admiral Tony Rodriguez watched the battle unfold from his command ship, coordinating the largest space battle humanity had ever fought. The tactical display showed human ships throughout the solar system converging on the alien fleet, using attack patterns that changed moment by moment. Phase 2, Rodriguez ordered. All reserve squadrons begin your attack runs. Additional human ships dropped their concealment and joined the battle. These vessels had been hidden in the shadows of planets and moons, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The alien fleet found itself surrounded by opponents that fought like nothing they had ever encountered. The key difference was immediately apparent to any observer. Alien ships fought like individual duelists, each vessel operating independently, with occasional coordination. Human ships fought like a single organism with hundreds of thinking parts, each ship willing to sacrifice itself to create opportunities for others. "Sir," reported Commander Lisa Thompson from her assault cruiser, "the alien command ship is trying to break away from the main battle. Request permission to pursue." "Granted," Rodriguez replied. "Capture if possible, destroy if necessary, but don't let them escape to report what they've seen here." Lisa's ship led a pursuit force after the Dominion of Stars as Vexitar attempted to retreat from the unexpected resistance. Her vessels used human tactics that violated every principle of space combat the aliens understood. "Full ramming speed," Lisa ordered her helmsman. "We're going to show them that humans don't just fight to win, we fight to send a message." Her ship accelerated directly toward the alien flagship, ignoring the energy weapons that tore through her hull. At the last moment, she veered aside and fired a concentrated barrage that disabled the alien ship's faster-than-light drive. "This is Commander Thompson to alien vessel," Lisa broadcast on all frequencies. "You are disabled and surrounded. Surrender now or be destroyed." The response from the alien ship was a continued attempt to fight. Vexitar could not comprehend that primitive humans had not only defeated his fleet, but were offering him terms of surrender. "Admiral," his tactical officer reported, "we've lost 60% of our ships. The remaining vessels are requesting permission to retreat." "Denied," Vexitar replied through clenched teeth. "Council forces do not retreat from primitives." "Sir," the officer continued desperately, "these are not primitives. They're using our own technology against us with tactical knowledge we've never encountered. They fight like no species in the galactic database." The battle ended when the last alien ship was either destroyed or disabled. Of the 36 vessels that had arrived to investigate Earth, only 5 remained intact, and those only because human commanders had specifically chosen to capture them. Admiral Rodriguez surveyed the aftermath from his command ship. Human. Losses had been significant. Over 100 ships destroyed and thousands of crew members lost. But they had achieved something no species had accomplished in galactic history. They had defeated a galactic council fleet in open battle. "This is Admiral Rodriguez to all ships," he broadcast. "You have just participated in the first human victory in what will be known as the War of Independence. Today, we proved that freedom is not something that can be given or taken away. It is something that must be fought for and won. The captured alien ships contained intelligence that would prove crucial for future operations. More importantly, they contained witnesses who would carry word of humanity's capabilities back to the Galactic Council." Captain Sarah Mitchell's damaged ship limped back toward Earth alongside the other survivors. Her crew had performed magnificently, demonstrating the tactical concepts that human commanders had developed over months of preparation. "Think they got the message?" her tactical officer asked as they watched the debris field that had once been an alien fleet. "Oh, they got the message," Sarah replied. "The question is whether they'll be smart enough to listen to it. In the depths of space, Emergency beacons from the surviving alien ships began transmitting reports of the battle to Galactic Council headquarters. The messages described impossible events, a primitive species using advanced technology with tactical innovation that exceeded anything in the Council's experience. The galaxy was about to learn that a new kind of civilization had emerged from the small blue planet that had once been dismissed as harmless and primitive. Humanity had announced its independence in terms that no advanced species could ignore or misunderstand. The war for galactic freedom had begun, and the first battle belonged to Earth. The emergency session of the Galactic Council convened within hours of receiving the first reports from Earth. For the first time in over 1,000 years, Council members faced news of military defeat at the hands of a species they had classified as primitive and harmless. High Counselor Miriam's crystalline form flickered with colors that indicated extreme agitation as she addressed the assembly. The reports from Admiral Vextar cannot be accurate. A Level 7 species cannot possess the technology or tactical knowledge described in these transmissions. Yet the evidence is undeniable, replied Council Member Thokron of the Nexus Collective. His electronic voice carried none of its usual calm certainty. 36 Council ships destroyed or captured by human forces. The survivors report technology equal to our own and tactical methods beyond our understanding. Admiral Vextar himself appeared via holographic projection from his captured flagship, now under human guard. His scaled skin showed obvious signs of stress, and his yellow eyes held something that other council members had never seen before: fear. They fight like no species we have ever encountered, Vextar reported. Individual ships sacrifice themselves to create advantages for others. They coordinate attacks that appear chaotic but follow patterns we cannot predict. Their weapons are crude versions of our technology, but they use them in ways we never imagined. In the detention facility aboard the human command ship, Vextar found himself face-to-face with Admiral Tony Rodriguez. The human admiral's calm demeanor was more unsettling than any show of anger or triumph would have been. Admiral Vextar, Tony began, you have a choice to make. You can return to the Galactic Council with a message of continued war, or you can help us establish a new relationship between our species. Humans cannot defeat the full might of the Council, Vextar replied, though his voice lacked conviction. This victory was achieved through surprise and deception. It cannot be repeated. You're right about one thing, Tony admitted. We can't defeat the entire Galactic Council in a direct military confrontation, but we don't need to. Tony activated a holographic display showing star charts that covered a significant portion of the galaxy. Red dots indicated Council-controlled worlds, while blue dots showed something that made Vextar's blood run cold. These are worlds where independence movements have begun since news of our victory spread, Tony explained. 17 species have declared their intention to break away from Council control. 3 have already begun military operations against Council forces. Impossible, Vextar breathed. Those species have been loyal to the Council for millennia. Loyal because they had no choice, Tony corrected. We've been in communication with resistance movements across the galaxy through our ally Zarakin. They were waiting for proof that Council forces could be defeated. The scope of the crisis became clear as Tony continued his explanation. Humanity's victory had triggered exactly what the Council had feared most: a galactic-wide independence movement that threatened to tear apart their empire. Your choice is simple, Tony continued. Help us establish peaceful coexistence, or watch as the galaxy tears itself apart in wars of independence. Because we've proven something important, Council technology can be mastered by others, and council tactics can be defeated. Meanwhile, on Earth, President Matthew Hayes prepared to address the world with news that would change human civilization forever. The secret resistance had become humanity's military force, and their victory in space meant that Earth would never again be subject to alien control. "My fellow humans," President Hayes began his broadcast, "today our species achieved something unprecedented in galactic history. We have defeated the forces of an alien empire and claimed our rightful place as a free and independent civilization. The revelation of the secret war, the hidden technology, and humanity's new status sent shockwaves around the world. But the response was not panic or fear. It was pride and determination. Humans had always known they were capable of extraordinary things when pushed to their limits. Dr. Kate Morrison found herself in charge of the most advanced technology development program in human history. The reverse-engineered alien systems had proven their worth in battle, but now came the greater challenge of building a sustainable spacefaring civilization. "We have the technology," Kate explained to the joint session of Congress, "but we need to build the infrastructure to use it effectively. Within 5 years, humanity could have colonies throughout the solar system. Within 10 years, we could be exploring nearby star systems." "What about the Galactic Council?" asked a concerned senator. "Won't they attempt to retake Earth?" "That's where things get interesting," Kate replied with a slight smile. "According to our intelligence sources, the Council is facing the largest internal crisis in their history. They don't have the resources to fight independence movements on dozens of worlds simultaneously. The captured alien ships provided more than just intelligence. They provided proof of concept for human technological advancement. Human engineers had not only reverse-engineered alien technology, but had improved upon it in several areas. The aliens build for perfection and longevity," explained Chief Engineer Mark Davis during a televised demonstration. "We build for effectiveness and mass production. Our ships may not last as long as theirs, but we can build them faster and in greater numbers." 6 months after the battle, Captain Jake Sullivan stood on the bridge of humanity's first interstellar exploration vessel. The same submarine commander who had first detected alien presence in Earth's oceans now commanded a ship capable of traveling to distant stars. "Navigation reports ready for faster-than-light jump," announced his helmsman, Lieutenant Amy Chen. "Destination confirmed," added his navigator. "Proxima Centauri system. Estimated travel time 4 days." Jake looked out at the star field ahead of them, knowing that this moment marked humanity's true emergence as a spacefaring species. "Engage faster-than-light drive," he ordered. "Let's go see what's out there." The ship vanished in a flash of distorted space-time, carrying humans beyond their solar system for the first time in history. Behind them, Earth continued its transformation from a conquered world to the center of a growing human stellar civilization. The Galactic Council still existed, but their absolute authority was broken. Several species had successfully achieved independence, while others negotiated new relationships based on equality rather than subjugation. The rigid hierarchy that had controlled the galaxy for thousands of years was giving way to a more complex and dynamic political structure. Zarakin transmitted her final report to Earth from the Andorian homeworld, which had just declared its independence from Council control. "The galaxy will never be the same," she reported. "Humanity has shown that technological superiority does not guarantee victory, and that freedom is possible for those willing to fight for it." "What happens now?" asked Dr. Ben Taylor during their final communication. "Now we build something new," Zarakin replied. A galaxy where species choose their own destinies rather than having them imposed by others. It will not be easy, and it will not be peaceful, but it will be free. On Earth, construction had begun on humanity's first major shipyard facilities. No longer hidden in underground caverns and abandoned mines, human engineering was expanding into space itself. Orbital platforms and asteroid mining operations would provide the foundation for rapid expansion throughout the solar system. Admiral Tony Rodriguez watched the construction from his new headquarters on Luna, humanity's first permanent off-world military base. The view of Earth through his office window reminded him of what they had fought to protect and what they had gained through victory. "Sir," reported his aide, Captain Sarah Mitchell, "we've received communications from 12 different species, requesting technical assistance in developing their own independence movements." "Grant the requests," Tony replied, "but make sure they understand that freedom cannot be given. It must be earned through their own efforts." The transformation of galactic civilization continued as news of successful resistance spread from world to world. The Galactic Council found itself in the position of negotiating with former subjects rather than commanding them. Some council species adapted to the new reality, while others retreated to heavily defended core worlds. Humanity had achieved something unprecedented. They had forced an ancient galactic empire to acknowledge that absolute power was no longer possible. The small blue planet that had once been mocked for its primitive technology had become the catalyst for the largest political transformation in galactic history. The age of council dominance was ending. The age of galactic freedom had begun. And at the center of it all, humans continued to do what they had always done best, proving that the impossible was simply another challenge to overcome. The galaxy would never again underestimate the species that had turned their greatest weakness into their greatest strength, and their determination into victory against impossible odds.